Welcome to Master Your Maths session. If you're preparing for the Gmat and a little doubtful about data sufficiency questions, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to explain to you the general approach for data sufficiency questions with clearly illustrated with examples. I have also given some practice questions. All of the questions are from the Gmat official guide. Stay with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'm sure you're going to find this very useful. Let me start with what a data sufficiency question looks like. So there will be a problem followed by two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. The options are also always the same. The A, B, C, D, E options for data sufficiency questions are always the same. So option A is selected if statement 1 alone is sufficient, whereas statement 2 is not sufficient. B is selected when statement 1 alone is not sufficient, but statement 2 alone is sufficient. Option C is selected when neither of the statements alone is not sufficient, but statements 1 and 2 together are sufficient to solve the problem. Option D indicates that statement 1 alone is independently sufficient and statement 2 alone is also sufficient independently to solve the given problem. Option E indicates that neither of the statements alone nor combined is sufficient to solve the problem given to us. So here it is option A, statement 1 sufficient, B is 2, option C means both combined, option D means either of the two is sufficient, and option E means neither is sufficient. So if we look at statement 1 being sufficient and not sufficient, we can see that statement 1 is sufficient in option A. In option B, it is not sufficient. In option C, statement 1 is not sufficient. In option D, statement 1 is sufficient. And in option E, statement 1 is not sufficient. So once we find the result of whether statement 1 is sufficient or not, we can reduce our options to either A, D if it is sufficient or B, C, E if it is not sufficient. I will show you how to apply this to the given questions. Now let us look at the question here. When we read the question, as we read, we are going to write the information given so that we don't have to go on reading the question again and again. Now, each of the 256 solid colored marbles, so there are totally 256 marbles, in the box is either blue, green or purple. What is the ratio of the number of blue marbles to the number of purple marbles in the box? So we have to also note down the given question. So the given information and the given question. Next we see what we can infer from this given information. So this means that B plus G plus P is equal to 256. That is about the only inference we can draw from this given information. So next we move on to the information in statement 1, but we will clearly write 1 here quickly so that we don't confuse it with the given information. The number of green marbles in the box, G, is 4 times the number of blue marbles in the box, which means G is equal to 4B. Now what can we do with this information? In this equation B plus G plus P, we can replace G with 4B. So we will have B plus 4B plus P is equal to 256. So 5B plus P is equal to 256. But there can be different values of B and P that satisfy this equation because we have one equation and two variables. So it is not possible for us to find B's to P ratio using this given information in statement 1. So we say statement 1 is not sufficient. And when statement 1 is not sufficient, we take the options B, C and E. So we have already eliminated A and D. Now let me move on to the information given in statement 2, but again don't forget to write this too. There are 192 green marbles in the box. So G is equal to 192. First we will use the information given in the problem plus 2 alone and see if that is sufficient to solve the problem. So B plus G plus P is equal to 256. Here we plug in G is equal to 192. So B plus 192 plus P is equal to 256. So B plus P would be equal to 256 minus 192, which would be equal to 56 plus 8, 64. So we know that B plus P equal to 64. Again, there can be different values of B and P whose sum is 64. You can have 60 plus 4, you can have 50 plus 14, you can have different combinations. So this information is not sufficient to get the ratio of B's to P, which is the given question. So we eliminate option B. Now to check if it is option C or E, we need to combine both the given statements. So from statement 1, we knew that 5B plus P is equal to 256. From statement 2, we know that B plus P is equal to 64. We have two simultaneous equations here in B and P, which can be solved to find the value of B and the value of P, which means we can get the value of B's to P. So the statements put together are sufficient to solve the given question, and hence we select option C. So I hope that was clear to you. I will again follow the same approach for another couple of problems so that it becomes clearer. Now, we will look at this problem in a certain group of 50 people. So we know that there are 50 people in all. How many are doctors who have a law degree? So doctors, and they have a law degree. This is the question asked. There is no other information in the question except that there are 50 people. But from the given question, we can infer that there are some people who are doctors, some people who are lawyers, some people who are both, and some people who are, there can be some people who are neither doctors nor lawyers also. So don't you think it is best to draw a Venn diagram to quickly note this information so that we don't miss out anything? So here there are totally 50 people, doctors and lawyers. Now there can be, we can probably represent the number of people who are only doctors as A, both doctors and lawyers as B, only lawyers as C. But there can be people who are neither doctors nor lawyers because it is not specified that all of them are at least one of the two, right? So we proceed with the first option. Don't forget to write the 1. In the group, 36 people are doctors. So D is equal to 36. So what is D and L here in terms of A, B, C, D? Let us write it as A plus B plus C plus D equal to 50. Now here D would comprise A and B. So A plus B equal to 36. So D and L together would be what? Only B. So what we need to find is B. But we know that A plus B equal to 36. And using this information, A plus B plus C plus D equal to 50, we can probably find that C plus D is equal to 50 minus 36, which is equal to 14. But this is not going to help us find the value of B, right? So the information in these two statements is not sufficient, in this first statement is not sufficient to solve the given problem, which means we are left with options B, C and E. Yes. Now I will quickly move on to the second statement and the information given there. Don't forget this too again. In the group, 18 people have a law degree. So L is equal to 18. What is L? L is B and C put together. So B plus C equal to 18. Will this, along with this information, help me find B? No, I can only find A plus D because I know B plus C, but I will not be able to find B. So again, this information is not sufficient to find B. Hence, what do? Hence, we eliminate option B from this. To eliminate, to find whether it is C or E, we need to take a combination of both. Right. Now, look at all the information given. We know that A plus B plus C plus D equal to 50. We know that A plus B is 36, and we know that B plus C is equal to 18. But we have no information about B, hence we cannot split the given information, the given numbers between A, B and C, and hence it is not possible to find B even after taking all the given information. So this is 36, this is 18, but we still cannot find B because this D is unknown here. Otherwise, we could have split this. But since D is unknown, it is not possible for us to find the value of B. Hence, C is also eliminated and our option is option E. I hope the approach is becoming clearer. Now we move on to one more problem. Now here, a certain truck uses 1 by 12 plus kV squared gallons of fuel per mile. So gallons of fuel, let me write it as F, is equal to 1 by 12 plus kV squared. When its speed is V miles per hour, so V is the speed and they have given that K is a constant, but they have not given us the value of this constant. At what speed should the truck travel? So V is equal to question mark, so that it uses 5 by 12 gallon of fuel per mile, so that F is equal to 5 by 12. So we are given the value of F and we have to find V. So if we know the value of K, then we will be able to find V, right? So let's move on to the first given option. So the value of K is 1 by 10,800, which is exactly what we needed. So if we substitute K equal to 1 by 10,800 here and the value of F, we can find V using this information. Hence, I will say statement 1 is sufficient. Please note that I'm not sitting and working out the problem and finding the value. I just need to know whether it is sufficient to sufficient information to find the value. So I say it is sufficient, and when statement 1 is sufficient, our options reduce to only A and D. We have eliminated B, C and E in one go. So now let us look at the information given in statement 2 to make sure if that alone is sufficient to solve the problem. So what is given here? When the truck travels at 30 miles per hour, V is equal to 30, it uses 1 by 6 gallon of fuel per mile. F is equal to 1 by 6. So they have given us V and they have given us F. Now look at the information, look at the equation. F is equal to 1 by 12 plus kV squared that was given to us. We are using only the given statement and given information in the problem and the second statement. All right. So if we put in V is equal to 30 and F is equal to 1 by 6, we can find the value of K here. Right. Once K is determined, K can be found. Once K is determined, then we can substitute K in this equation and we can similarly find the value of V since F is given to us. So V can be found, right? V in the question. The speed for this particular fuel efficiency can be found. So V can be determined, which means this is also sufficient independently to solve the given question. So our option is option D, where each one independently helps us solve the problem. All right. Now I'm moving on to my last example. So by what percentage was the price of a certain television set discounted for a sale? So there's hardly any information given here. So they are asking for the percentage discount on a TV set. All right. So percentage discount is asked. There's hardly any information. So I'm not writing any other information. I am directly moving on to the statement 1. The price of the television set before it was discounted for the sale was 25% greater than the discounted price. So let us take P1 to be the original price and say P2 to be the discounted price. So what they are saying is the price before it was discounted for the sale. So P1 is 25% greater than P2. So if we take P2 to be 100, we can easily solve this problem rather than taking variables. If we take P2 to be 100, P1 will be 25% greater than 100, which is 25% of 100 will be 25. So it will be 125, right? So we now have P1 and P2. So to find the percentage discount, we will have to take the actual discount divided by the original price, which is P1, because on that only the discount will be applied, and then multiplied by 100. So here what is the discount? Is the difference between the original price and the selling price, which is 125 minus 100, so it is 25, divided by P1, which is 125 into 100. So that would be 1 time and 5 times, so it would be 20%. So we could easily determine the value of the percentage discount using the given information. Hence, this statement is sufficient to solve the problem. If statement 1 was sufficient, then we had how many options? 2 options, A and D. So we know it is going to be either A or D. To find if it is D, we have to check the sufficiency of statement 2. So the price of the television set was discounted by $60 for the sale. So P2 would be P1 minus 60, because they are saying it was discounted by $60. But do we have any information about P1 or P2? We know the discount, but we also need P1, right? Only then we can find the percentage discount. So we have discount, but we don't have P1, so we don't know what the percentage is going to be. So this statement alone, along with the given information, is not sufficient to find an answer to the given question. Hence, the option will be A, since statement 2 is not sufficient. So we have solved a few problems. I would like you to use the same approach to try solving these questions. I have given about 5 practice questions, and I have also mentioned the answers to the practice questions. If you liked my video, please subscribe to the channel. I will be posting a lot of informative videos soon. And if you have any doubts or enquiries for tutoring, then you can contact me at this mail address, or you drop a comment. Thank you.